Hello guys, welcome to Photoshop tutorials. Subscribe to our channel for regular updates. In this tutorial we are gonna see how to transform a normal picture to a beautiful one. Like how some famous Instagram photographers do. The source files are given as a link in the description below. Let's get into the tutorial. Select the background layer and click on Ctrl+Command+J to duplicate a layer. Now click on Ctrl+Command+Shift+A to open Camera Raw, so we have to perform some basic exposure adjustments. The main thing you have to do in Camera Raw is to cut the shadows and decrease the highlights to bring down all the overexposed areas. I'm decreasing the exposure a bit since the skin is exposed. The main objective of adjusting the basic settings is to make the picture look like an even light portrait. Moving on to HSL adjustments. Here you can find 3 tabs: Hues, Saturation, Luminance. By adjusting the hues, you can see the color changes happening on the subject or in the background. This is done just to pop up the background colors mostly. In saturation you can increase the vibrance of every single color in this picture. By adjusting the luminance, you can darken or lighten the color available in the picture. So we've done the basic exposure and coloring adjustments. You can see the difference here. Let's crop the image 5:4 Instagram size. Click on C to crop the image. The picture looks a bit cross. Let's adjust that first. Clicking on Ctrl+Command+T and adjusting the picture is needed. Let's do some skin cleanup on the subject. Selecting the healing brush and clearing the dark spots and unwanted hair. Okay guys, we are done with the basic skin cleanup. Since this picture holds only about 10% of skin, we are not concentrating on skin as we do for a close-up picture. Opening a new selective colors adjustment layer to tone up the skin. Playing with the reds and yellows. Okay, this is fine. Opening another new selective colors adjustment layer to tone up the background. We can play with colors since each one of us have a taste. This is fine for me. Now let's do some local dodge and burn. Open a new layer, click on Shift F5. On the dialog box select Contents option and click on 50% gray, blending mode normal and opacity 100%. Hit on OK. Select the brush tool, masking colors black and white. Brush setting opacity 100%, flow 1% or changeable accordingly. Turn the gray layer blending mode to soft light. Now select white and start dodging the subject. Only highlight the areas where you see lights on the subject. Once you're done with the dodge, select black and start burning. Burn only the areas where you see shadows. A tip for the beginners. If you're in the starting stage of learning to dodge and burn, you can use 2 gray layers, one for dodge and one for burn. If you're a pro, then you can go with a single layer. See that you cover all the areas in a subject. The more time you take, the more effective output you will get. Okay, let me speed up this process. Okay guys, we are done with the local dodge and burn. Now let's move on to separation of the subject from the background. Open a new level adjustment layer, increase shadows a bit. Now select the brush tool and start brushing out the subject from the dark using a layer mask. Okay, we are done with this step. Opening a new channel mixer adjustment layer to mac up overall tone for this picture. Most of the retouchers won't use this channel mixer, but this gives a color mix-up to the picture. Like, you have to balance the 3 bars to get a perfect tone. It has to be done very carefully, since the colors will be too much overdone. Most of the professional retouchers use this to bring their unique tone. So I'm okay with this blue kind of feel. Opening a new hues adjustment layer to whiten the teeth and eye. Decrease the saturation and click on Ctrl or Command I and layer mask the teeth and eye using brush tool. Decreasing the opacity to blend it with the picture. Let's boost up the costume color for this girl. Opening a new selective colors adjustment layer. Play with neutrals and come up with the color which you're looking for. I'm looking for a maroon kind of a color. This is fine. Let's layer mask the edges with brush tool to make it perfect. Okay guys, we are done with the brushing. Let's move on to the next step. Opening a new hues adjustment layer and decreasing the saturation to make the skin blend with overall picture tone. Making the skin to a dull gray. Brushing using layer mask. Okay guys, we are done with the brushing. Let's move on to the next step. Let's add some blush to the subject. Open a new layer and change the blending mode to soft light. Select the brush tool and choose red color from the color palette. Brush setting, opacity 100%, flow 1% or changeable accordingly. Start brushing on the nose and on the cheeks gently. If overdone, decrease the opacity to look natural. Opening a new brightness and contrast adjustment layer to perform global dodge and burn. Decrease the brightness of the image and select the brush tool and start brushing the highlighted areas of the skin. This will make the picture a bit dull, but the skin will glow after brushing the highlights. Opening a new photo filter adjustment layer. Warming filter seems to me more effective to our picture. Let's brush the subject using a layer mask. Open a new layer, select the brush tool and select black. Start brushing the layer evenly throughout the image. Copying the layer mask from the previous layer. So the brushing part will only cover the background. Let's make some light effect from the top. Open a new layer, select the brush tool and select white. Make your brush size bigger and hit a single click on your mouse. Make the blending more to screen if needed, because sometimes it depends on the picture. And you can move the light layer. Opening a new layer to create some light sparks like. And blur the layer to form a bokeh effect. Let's darken the hair a bit using the local dodge and burn layer. Okay, we are done. Let's make an outline effect. And let's make some fake hair. Now let's create a radial blur at the background. Click on the subject layer. Duplicate that layer using Controller Command J. Go to Filter, Blur, Radial Blur, 5 points recommended. Open a layer mask on the radial blurred layer and erase the blur from the subject. Decreasing the opacity to decrease the blur effect. Let's add some leaves effect like it's falling around the subject. Bring the leaves layer below all the tone layers so that the leaves will also be in the same tone of the subject. Opening hues and turning the color of the leaves to match the picture tone. Once done, by selecting both the layers, click on Ctrl+Command+E, you can merge layers, duplicating the leaves layer and spreading it around the subject. Merge all the leaves layer together, click on Ctrl+Command+E by selecting all the layers. Now we will perform radial blur effect on the leaves layer too. Go to Filter, Blur, Radial Blur. Keep the blur points as minimum since the subject is too small. Let's move on to the final image tone boosting process. Select the topmost layer and click on Ctrl+Command+Shift+Alt+E to merge all the below layers to form a new layer. Now click on Ctrl+Command+Shift+A to open Camera Raw. Let's now boost up the image using Camera Raw. The final color grading plays a major role of fine-tuning a picture. Most of the professionals will bring up their personal touch using this final tuning process. Okay, now let's get into it. Adjusting the basic settings to see whether this will bring up something better. Moving on to curves to brighten the highlights and increasing the shadows to form a depth. Let's go to split toning, which creates the final tone of the image. I'm looking for a reddish green color. Okay, this is fine for me. Moving on to calibration. This will make the colors boost and will bring up a vibrant tone to our picture. Let's create a radial effect over the subject. Clicking on Radial tool and form a circle around the subject and make the background a bit dark. Making too dark won't work out well, so keep a limit to look natural. Okay, this will do. Let's form a light kind of effect at the top of the subject. Clicking on the radial option once again and forming a light rays kind of effect. Okay, this is fine. Hit on OK once you're done. Opening Liquify tool just to make her arm slim. This will do fine. Let's resize the image for Instagram so we won't lose quality or color in our image while uploading it. Click on Ctrl+Alt+I. And I'm changing the height of the image to 2000 pixels and hit on OK and we are done. We've come to the end of this tutorial. If you have any doubts you can ask them on the comments section below. Hope this tutorial was useful. Hit on the like button if you liked this video, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon for regular updates.